Hello, welcome to Psyche180, the space where we transform the way you understand and face emotional challenges. If you've ever felt like anxiety or depression are controlling you, this video is specially designed for you. Before we begin, I'd like to ask you for something simple but powerful. Please give this video a like, share it on your social media, and subscribe to the channel. I upload content every week that can make a difference in your life and in the lives of those around you. Ready for this transformative journey? Let's begin. Why do we talk about anxiety and depression together? Because they have something in common. They both stem from our recurring thoughts. Those thoughts that seem to never let up, and without us realizing it, affect how we feel, how we act, and how we see the world. Anxiety, the fear of what's to come. It's that inner voice that shouts, "What if my partner is cheating on me? What if everything goes wrong in that meeting? I'm not good enough for this." Anxiety lives in the future, anticipating problems that haven't happened yet and may never happen. Depression, the shadow of the past and present. On the other hand, depression is linked to thoughts like, "I'm not worth anything. No one really cares about me. Nothing will ever get better. This is permanent." It's that feeling of carrying an unmovable weight, a fact that will change your perspective. Your mind is designed to think, always. Not even the greatest spiritual masters can silence it. But here's the key. Thoughts don't have the power to control you unless you give them that power. This video is here to teach you how to take back control, how to recognize those negative thoughts, and prevent them from defining your life. Yes, they might be there, but you decide whether they stop you or whether you let them pass like clouds in the sky. Join me on this journey. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to deal with anxiety and depression at their root, your thoughts, because you have more power than you think. Are you ready to start changing your life? Stay with me until the end, and transform your perspective today. Remember, a like, a comment, and a subscription not only support this channel, but are also the first step in impacting more people who need to hear this message. In the previous video about how to deal with fear, I left a link in the description where I dive deeper into how to face it. Today, I want to continue that journey, because as we saw, humans are evolutionarily programmed to have negative thoughts. But don't worry, there's a powerful reason for this. If we didn't have that voice telling us something might go wrong, our lives would be very different. Can you imagine driving too fast without thinking about the consequences? Or smoking and drinking without considering the risks? Negative thoughts are there to protect us, to help us survive, to keep us alert, to take precautions. That's why it's not about eliminating these thoughts, but learning how to manage them. How do we face them effectively? The first step is this. Recognize the thoughts. Most people live on autopilot, reacting to what happens to them without questioning it. A negative thought passes through our mind, like "I'm not good enough," and we automatically accept it as true without questioning it. This is the first mistake. It's like the mind sends a signal and we just react without thinking. What we need to do is stop and question those thoughts. Am I really as bad as my mind is telling me? Is this an absolute truth, or is it a perception I can change? This step of becoming aware is essential because, by recognizing negative thoughts, you become the master of your mind, not its slave. This is where the power of taking control over your anxiety and depression begins. In this video, I will teach you how to pause that autopilot mode and start questioning those thoughts so they no longer control you, but instead, you control your life. Imagine a common situation like waiting in line at the supermarket. Suddenly you feel ignored, as if everyone is disregarding you. Automatically, your mind starts to create a negative scenario. This is disrespectful. They're making me wait because they don't care about me. And in that moment, all you want to do is yell, get attention, react in some way. But why? Because we're on autopilot. Reacting without being aware of what we're feeling or thinking. This is where the transformation begins. Step 1. Recognize the thoughts. The first step in changing our relationship with anxiety and depression is to recognize what we're thinking. In that moment, instead of letting ourselves be carried away by the emotion and automatic action, we need to stop and be aware of what's going on in our minds. Step 2. Question the reality of the thoughts. After identifying those thoughts, the next step is to understand that our thoughts are not reality. When, for example, we're in the middle of an argument or discomfort, we might think, my partner is cheating on me, but we're likely not questioning whether this is true or not. We just accept it as a fact. But the truth is, those thoughts are just ideas passing through our minds. They're not exact descriptions of what's actually happening. That's why it's crucial to differentiate between what we think and what's really going on. These thoughts are not facts, they're just words that pass through our minds. If we manage to make this distinction, we begin to lose the power those thoughts have over our emotions. Thoughts don't dictate our actions. It's important to understand that thoughts don't force us to act. Even if a negative thought arises, like I'm not good enough or I'm not going to enjoy this activity, that doesn't mean we have to stop doing things or isolate ourselves. Thoughts don't control what we do. You decide whether to follow them or let them go. A good example of this is when you're driving and another car cuts you off. The first thought that comes to your mind might be, I'm going to pass them and honk. However, you decide whether to act on it or not because you know it's just a thought and you're in control. This simple example shows how thoughts aren't what actually define our actions. The key: diminish the value of thoughts. In summary, thoughts are just words passing through our minds. We don't have to make them bigger than they are. If we manage to reduce their power over our emotions and behaviors, we begin to regain control of our lives. Remember, your thoughts don't define who you are or dictate what you can or cannot do. You are the one with the power to choose how to react. Step 3. Recognize that we're fused with the thoughts. Imagine you're driving down a highway and at each stretch, there are signs inviting you to stop. Buy this, do this. Your goal is to reach your destination, but these signs keep distracting you, making you feel the need to stop at each one. This is how our minds work. When we're fused with a thought like thoughts of anxiety or depression, we feel compelled to stop at them. Every time a thought like I'm not good enough pops up, it's like our mind is saying stop here. We get carried away by emotion and worry, and our goal, whether emotional or practical, drifts away. The key is recognizing that we're fused with that thought. By doing this, we begin to release the control that the thought has over us. Step 4. Diffuse from the thoughts. Now that we've recognized that we're fused with these thoughts, the next step is to diffuse from them. This doesn't mean eliminating the thoughts, but simply letting them pass without clinging to them. And for that, there are some techniques that can help us do this. One of them is mindfulness. This exercise, which I'll leave in the description of the video, helps you see thoughts for what they are, just words that come and go, without needing to give them more weight than they have. By practicing mindfulness, you realize that those thoughts don't define you and that, even though they pass through your mind, you don't need to act based on them. But, like any skill, it takes work. Diffusing from thoughts takes time and practice, but over time, it will become easier. With each exercise, you'll move further away from those negative thoughts. Another technique you can try is deliberately repeating the negative thought. Sounds weird, right? But it works. If your thought is, I'm not good enough, repeat it out loud as if saying it 10 or 15 times in a row. Then, add the phrase, I'm thinking that I'm not good enough. And finally say, I realize that I'm thinking that I'm not good enough. By doing this, you'll separate the thought from your identity. You'll realize that you're not the thought. You are the one who has the thought. This exercise is a way to diffuse and begin to regain control over your mind. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I upload more content every week to help you transform your mind and your life. See you in the next video.